Hello and welcome to Jeanette's I'm Every Woman TV. I am your host, Jeanette Burke. We are sitting with Iris Ben-Ruby. She is a psychotherapist and dating and relationship expert with Forever Love Coaching. Welcome, Iris.
Thank you for having me on the show, Jeanette. I love it.
I love having you here. So you are a trained psychotherapist and dating relationship expert, as I said. Please share with us a little bit about your journey and how you got where you are and why you chose this specialty.
Well, what I can tell you is that I was married for 18 years with who I thought was my soulmate. And when that relationship ended in divorce, I spent 2 years trying to figure out, who am I if I'm not a wife? I'm only a part-time mother. And then I started dating, and I went from one relationship to the next bad relationship. And I kept repeating it over and over, and I wondered, what is it that I'm missing? And so what I was doing is I was attracting the same kind of partner. And I had to start to learn how to change my attractions so that I could pick the partner of my dream that I'm living with now. And I realized that that's what I want to do for women who are struggling to find love and want to figure out what is that pattern, what are those mistakes they're making, and help them shift that.
But now you choose to work with women 45 to 60. Why is that?
Because when we were in our 20s, we didn't have online dating. All of our dates were vetted by someone, usually a parent, a cousin, a friend, or even somebody at work who knew that they were single, who knew what their character was. Now, the best place to meet somebody is online, but how do you know if that person's worth trusting? How do you know what to look for? How do you know if they're single? So what I do is I teach a woman the markers of what to look for in a healthy relationship and what's going to make her happy. And so it's easier to navigate through the online dating. And if I can add one more thing.
Sure.
By the time we've reached our 40s, we've been hurt, we've been disappointed, we've been maybe betrayed, and we tend to close our heart up. We tend to not trust anymore, and then we need to know how to open up our heart while keeping ourselves safe, and that's what I teach women.
Okay, so those, I think, are some of the barriers to the success of a relationship. And how do we overcome them? And I ask this because, again, you sort of hit the nail on the head a minute ago when you said, you know, we become closed, we become jaded, we've had too many bad experiences. And we need to open our heart again, but for some people, it's just, they can't, you know, they do not want to take that risk to get hurt again. So there's lots of barriers, I guess, to the love, right? How do you help women overcome these barriers to being in a successful relationship?
So let me say, first of all, the reason they close their heart off is that they've been hurt so many times, and they're right to close their heart off because they want to protect themselves. They don't want to get hurt again. Nobody wants to get hurt. The problem is that they don't have the skills on how to change their pattern. So if they go out there and they date again, you've heard that saying, dating the same man over and over with different clothing. So we need to learn the skills on how to change the kind of men we're attracted to, and also the kind of men that are attracted to us. It's what I call a relationship blueprint. And I teach women how to change that, and also the markers on how to slowly not test but assess a man. Is he worth trusting? It's not about men are good or bad.
So walk me through a little bit on that process. And you talk about these markers and you talk about the blueprint. Tell me a little bit about the actual process. I believe it's called the Cherished Woman process that you have. It's a 3-step. What are some of the markers? What are some of the things you could impart from this process that you have that women could use just as a way to start it off, to get them interested in knowing a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, so some of the markers is you look at how does he treat wait staff. Now, first of all, what I talk about is for whether you're straight, bi, or gay, so they're the same things. How does the other person treat the people around them? What are their relationships like with their mother, with their sister? Have they cut people off for years? What have they learned from past relationships? Are they still blaming their exes? In that case, they haven't learned anything. thing, and you're probably going to be one in a series of women who's going to be blamed. You want a man who's learned from his past, who has grown and learned about himself and is clear about what he wants, so that when he picks you, he doesn't pick you for your potential, he picks you for who you are at the core. But what needs to start is you need to get to know who you are at the core, so that you're never suppressing your needs. You're never getting into a relationship with a man that doesn't meet what you need, with a man who's emotionally unavailable and not capable or willing to make you happy.
So would it not be fair to say then, in order to really get with somebody who understands your needs, that you first need to understand your needs?
Absolutely, and that's the first part of our program, getting clear on who we are, our gifts, our strengths, what do we bring to relationship, because when that confidence increases, I call it the black velvet rope policy. When we used to go to clubs, they had a black velvet rope and they would look you up and down and decide, are you worthy of our club? And if they thought you were worthy, they'd open it up and let you in. Women don't have that velvet rope policy. It's too low. When you really get to know your value, that rises and you start to assess a man, not as a test, but are you capable of giving me what I need to be happy? Are we in alignment with our values and the lifestyle that we're looking for? And that's what I teach a woman. That's the foundation that she can build a healthy relationship on.
But in the age group that you cater to, 45 to 60, and I'm just going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here and look for your answer. I think potentially a lot of people in that age category are either fed up or they are worried that they aren't going to have a partner, they're not going to attract a partner, and so they're willing to take maybe more or less rather than what they deserve.
They're willing to put up with more.
Yes.
But that's because they don't have the skills. I teach a woman how to write an online profile that attracts the kind of partner she's looking for. When she has these skills, I don't believe that dating is a numbers game. It's getting really clear on what you want, writing a profile that's going to attract the kind of men you're looking for, and you become the buyer. So you're sitting back and going, no, no, no. Oh, I might go out with this one. I don't want women going out on 3-4 dates with different men every week. It's a recipe for exhaustion. So when we get clear on what we're looking for and we can put it in a profile in a way that attracts the man in, then we're starting to attract men that are in the same place that we are, men that are capable of making us happy, men that are emotionally available.
Now, but what would you say to a woman who says, you know, I'm 45 or I'm 50 or I'm 60, you know, I'm just done with dating. Like I don't see any quality men out there. I don't get treated properly. I have to compete with younger women. You know, when I go on a date, the guy doesn't treat me right. What do you have to say to them?
I love to hear all of that, because those are about the limiting beliefs that have them see what they think is out there. If we think all men are cheaters or users, then that's what we've got our eyes trained to look for, but we don't see the good stuff. So we want to look at what are the limiting beliefs you're carrying in your mind, and those are beliefs that you created very early on in your life, and then you found all kinds of evidence as you grew older, evidence to support your beliefs that men aren't capable of making me happy, men can't be trusted, men cheat, whatever all our beliefs are. When we start,
Or I'm too old to be loved?
absolutely. Let me just say, the oldest woman I've worked with is 83.
Wow.
So I want women to give up that story. I'm too much of whatever. I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too heavy, I'm too old, my finances aren't right, or I'm not enough. I guarantee you every woman, and probably every man, carries some version of I'm too much. But when we get our value, I'm too much doesn't rise to the surface. When we get our value, we go out there with confidence because we know what we're looking for, and we know how to say no, and we know how to set boundaries with men.
Okay, great. So the 3-step formula, talk to me a little bit about it. What's your approach, and how does this approach make you different from other dating relationship experts?
So I'm going to start with that part first. Is I don't teach a woman how to manipulate or the 3 texts you can send a man that's going to have him drop what he's doing and ask you out on a date. This isn't a game. This is about getting authentic, about getting genuine, about really deepening our intimacy with ourselves, getting to know who we are, and picking a man that's in alignment with what we need. So it's a genuine relationship. It's about how to deepen intimacy with ourselves and with a man. So I don't teach...
Or a partner if you're of the same
Exactly,
sex.
a partner. So it's not about, there's no shortcuts. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes commitment to shift what you've always done to do something new. And I can tell you that through the women that I've worked with, but also with me, I learned those tools, those strategies. And the 3 parts are getting clear on who I am and what I have to offer. Because when my relationship ended, my marriage, I was devastated. I didn't know who I was anymore. I went at my label was I'm wife and mother, and all of a sudden I'm not that anymore. So I had to dig deep and learn, what are my values? What do I bring to relationship? And then I started to shift the kind of men I was attracted to. That's the number 2, and getting really clear on the kind of partner that will enhance your life. What are the characteristics, the personality traits? What's the lifestyle you want to live? And I've got the 5 levels of compatibility that I teach women so that she's picking a partner in alignment with that and learning to write a profile that will have a man read it and go, oh, I could see myself with her. And then the last piece is when she has that relationship of a lifetime, because I'm a marriage counselor, I teach her how to make it last a lifetime.
Great. So can you give me a success story other than your own?
Absolutely, sure. I'll talk to you about Donna. Donna was in her 70s, and she decided that, you know, God couldn't have made just one man for me. So she went out there and started to date. And once we started to work, she realized that she wrote her online profile like her resume. And she even went out there on a date, and she called me after the date and she said, I am never going out with that man again. I went to sit down and he told me to sit over there. I am never going to go out with a man that controls me. And so we talked it through, and I went, okay, let's calm down a little bit. I would invite you to go out one more time with this man and ask him, why did he ask you to move? She went out, she asked him, he said, because I wanted you to sit closer to me. So she had a belief that men control. So we had to teach her how to move from that masculine energy of nobody will control me, and writing her a profile like a resume, and shifting into that feminine. And women thinking that feminine is weakness, actually femininity is in strength. And that's what creates sexual chemistry to a man. And so I teach her all those pieces. And Donna's in a relationship. He's moved in, and he's actually building a shed on the back of her house so that he can move his workshop into that.
Oh, great. Before we close off, can you give me 3 tips or 3 do not do's in dating?
I would say the first one, and it's a big one, don't be the seller. Don't put your hand up and say, pick me. If you pick me, I'll make it work. Women do that all the time. And so what that does is it lowers your standards and you compromise yourself. The second thing is, if something feels off, just say, you know, this doesn't feel comfortable. Could you tell me more about what you're saying? And the third one is to just trust yourself. If this doesn't feel right, don't go out on another date. If something doesn't feel right, stay in a public environment. So all the work that we do...
That sounds good.
Well, it's about deepening the intimacy with ourselves, growing our intuition and our trust in ourselves so that we can go out there, open up our hearts slowly, and learn who to trust outside.
Now, we're coming to the close, but I wanted to mention 2 things. You work with your clients in 2 ways. One is a private practice, and the other is a group program. Would you like to explain that or elaborate on that a little bit, how those 2 programs work?
Yeah, so I work with professional women that are winning in the boardroom and losing in the bedroom. So it's really learning those skills on how to pick the right man in their feminine without losing any power. And for women who prefer to work in a group, I have a group program where we're teaching you all of those things, where we still have the one-on-one, but it's in a group format.
Okay, so the private is you meet with you like once a week or something like that?
Once a week. We can do it online, we can do it face-to-face, depending on what the woman likes.
And the group is a group setting with more than one?
Is all online, yes. But it's in real time. We're doing it live.
And when's the next session starting?
The next one starts in March, the group one.
Okay, in private, you take on how many clients is what it is?
Whenever she's ready, yes.
And how many clients will you take on at a time?
At a time, well, I probably have room for 2 more in my practice right now.
Okay, great. All right, so we'd like to learn a little bit more about you. Tell us how we can get in touch with you, where we can go to learn more, or how we can even book a session with you.
Great. So if you want to get in touch with me, the best way is to call me at 905-709-8185. My website is foreverlovecoaching.com. And if you want to set up a relationship breakthrough call, go to speakwithiris.com. What we do in that call, my zone of brilliance is in the first 30 minutes. I will pinpoint exactly what is sabotaging you and what needs to transform to get from where you are to where you want to be. And then we can discuss coaching after that.
Okay, one more time, the website and the where to book the call. One more time.
The website is foreverlovecoaching.com, and you can set up an appointment, a relationship breakthrough call at speakwithiris.com, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, thank you so much, Iris. It's very enlightening, this interview, and I think it's going to help a lot of women. And of course, that's true to my heart because I want to help as many women as possible live the best life they can, personally and professionally.
Yes.
All right, I want to thank you for being with us today. Please remember to like, comment, and share all our posts with your family, your friends, your gal pals, your coworkers, any woman who needs any inspiration or motivation or anything that, entertainment, whatever we cover to impact their lives. You will find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Vimeo, YouTube. You name it, we're there. Hashtag Jeanette's I'm Every Woman TV. And until next time, continue to be fabulous.